The Bengals lose to Pittsburgh 16-10. Our post-game reaction coming. But first, is the Bengals season now over? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comment section right now. Week 12 comes and goes, and the Bengals had their chances. The game flipped on a bad Jake Browning interception. Was intended for Jamar Chase. It's picked off. Leads to 7 eventually for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense had their most yards since 2020. The OC change did wonders for them. The Bengals offense had nothing going on the ground. They really missed, I think, Joe Burrow's impact on that area for teams to be scared about it at all. They just stopped the run. They were not worried about the passing game. It's a rough showing, a painful loss that might also be adding some injury to the insult as well. Logan Wilson left the game late with an apparent ankle injury. I don't know if he was back on the field for the final couple plays. He got bent up on, so either way, we'll keep an eye on. I doubt he would have gone back out there. You're doing our post-game building show there. So Wilson, the apparent ankle injury kind of got basically sat on it himself and bent under his own weight, which was not a great sign on that front. Also, I misspoke. They passed 400 yards on defense. Let's go to this section. Number one key to victory for me. Well, let's recap our keys to victory. Defense carries the team. They were the better unit. They did not play well enough. The Steelers had not had 400 yards of offense since week 2 of 2020. The 421 they finished with today is their most in the game since week 16 of 2018. So the 16 points allowed, it's great. You know, the raw numbers don't look that bad, but relative to what this Steelers offense had been, their best day in 5 years, basically. Tough to win games when you allow the offense to have their best game in 5 years. It's not good enough there. Bengals defense got some red zone stops. Pittsburgh was 1 of 4, making red zone drives into TDs, kept them alive. But it was a nearly 2-to-1 time to possession ratio there. They averaged 6.5 yards per play. They had the one fumble. It was a big play by Cincinnati, but 37 minutes time possession in the end because you include that 2-minute warning afterwards there. It's not good enough. Defense wasn't good enough. No one was good enough today. So grade the Bengals for me against the Steelers. A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off in the comment section right now. A, B, C, D, or F. Number 2, key to victory was the offense can't be a negative. You scored 10 points. It was a negative. The one touchdown drive you had was set up by a great Travion Williams kick return. In total, 5.4 yards per play. And what was very frustrating, the run game was non-existent. Now, could you have argued maybe you should try to establish it more? Sure. But the ratio early on was not that different than what it had been under Joe Burrow, which, again, maybe was an issue there. But Joe Mixon, 8 carries, 16 yards. Now, he did chip in 44 yards through the air, which was very valuable. Gave him a chance late to set up the field goal, but that's not good. The offense was a problem today. We'll talk about Jamar Chase later on. Tyler Boyd was pretty quiet. Jake Browning finishes 19 of 26 for 227. It's 8.7 yards per throw. Higher yards per throw than Kenny Pickett, but 4 sacks, several of which were on him. One of which was not. It was the TJ Watt one late in the game. The fumble, the terrible INT, and what really killed the Bengals today? Third downs. 2 of 10 on third downs. The Steelers were 8 of 17. One score game, there's your difference. It's tough to have sustained offensive success when you can't get third downs. You have to do it. And third downs is often the quarterback down. It's where you missed Burrow the most today. Plus, teams did not fear the opposing passing game at all. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. I'm a big fan of what Prize Picks offers. It's just you against the numbers. 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than, less than, See if you come out on top. It's that simple. You're not battling thousands of other players, the pros, the sharks, etc. It is simple. It is easy. You can mix and match NFL, NBA, NFL, college football. The reboot policy allows players to keep their picks alive if a player goes down due to injury and does not return, of course. My prize picks this week, I had my Thanksgiving one. I got the Trenton Irwin receiving yards on his one catch for 25 yards. Jake Browning comes up. He had 9. He did 12.5. So now it's all on Patrick Mahomes, more than 260.5. Feeling a revenge game from him. We shall see. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. Key to victory number 3, some Cordell Volson improvement. I'll use this here to be my big issue today, and we'll skip the weigh-in for this too. Why were you blocking TJ Watt with tight ends all game? Why? The big sack was not Jonah Williams' fault. You got Jonah at right tackle, Sample on the outside. They bring a delayed blitz up the middle, which is fine, or off the tackle. And Drew Sample leaves TJ Watt, who's directly in front of him, to step up in front of Jonah Williams and take the blitzer. That's not the assignment. That's not and if that is the assignment, violates every single offensive line rule I've ever heard about for blocking. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. Volson, meanwhile, I thought he was fine. I didn't notice anything bad. The thought for the most part, the O-line kind of held up decently. A couple bad plays. They did some good quick game overall, but they didn't run the ball well. Feel like that should have been an indictment on the offensive line too. So I go back and watch Volson in particular, but look, you didn't run the football at all. 8 carries, 16 yards. You can't have that. And you can give the ball more to Mixon, but there were no holes. Maybe you could have tried some Chase Brown. Just a thought. Now, if you love our Bengals watch parties and the Bengals in general, make sure you are subscribed. It's going to be draft season here on Bengals Breakdown with a now 4% chance, depending on what happens in this Texans and Colts games, it could drop to maybe 3% or rise to 6% potentially. But because Texans might win this football game, by the way. It's not looking good. Bengals season is very much in danger here. Key to victory number 4, Jordan Battle has to play well. Battle had 8 tackles, not a ton of splash plays, but DJ Turner played very well. The real issue today was Pat Freiermuth, 9 catches for 120 yards. By far his most. His previous high was like 80-something. So Logan Wilson, the safeties, they allowed Freiermuth to feast over the middle. And that can't happen. Give me your one-word reaction to the Bengals-Steelers game. Good, bad, ugly, over. It's a good one too. Sound off in the comment section right now. Key to victory number 5. Got to feed Jamar Chase. He did have 81 yards. 2 of them on tip passes. 1 of which should have been a pick 6. Should have iced the game right there. It was a terrible throw. KZ jumped it and it goes through his hands. 6 targets for 4 catches for 81 yards for Jamar Chase. I get a lot of these stuff were checkdowns, but why does the board have 5 and Tanner Hudson have 5? Why aren't you scheming stuff left and right for Jamar Chase? That's my issue with the play calling. The play action stuff was fine, I get it, but he's your best offensive playmaker. You have to force feed him. Other teams do it. So the refusal to get Jamar Chase heavily involved, I think was a mistake. He made some plays. The numbers are fine. But if you want to win football games without Joe Burrow, 6 targets ain't going to cut it. It's just not. Your number 1 receiver cannot be getting less than a quarter of the targets with this offense with T. Higgins out. Can't happen. You got to feed him more all the way through. Final thoughts here. 5-6. It's over. It's Jover, if you will. It's never been more over, frankly. The schedule is not easy. It sets up Jags, Colts, Vikings, Steelers, Chiefs, Browns. You're going to be favored in like maybe 2 of those games. Maybe. It's over. We'll have draft coverage here because that's what we're going to focus on. The games, they're in trouble. Sorry, Bengals fans. It is a tough season. It's a wasted season with Joe Burrow.